So you say, well, change yourself. Like, what do you like? What exercise? But that's a lot of I like that. That's your time. That nigga is not that. Sometimes you get up and get a deal with you think. Well, you know, this is better. When you put $30 on my car, see, put $30 on my car, over the counter, but I mean, buy what you like, $30. Yeah. $30, like $3. For what? About what? Yeah, I can see the thing. Can't pay that. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, sorry, I'm on hand. How many times is school? What? Scooter had an ass. Hello? Hello? You got a yellow? Praise Spanking News.
Praise Spanking News. We got almost everybody. We're just missing a couple, huh?
Are these,
Johnny,
group rolling. Group time.
Yeah, it's group time.
All right.
So, we'll give it 1 more minute because we're going by this one. Well, maybe 30 seconds.
yes.
Remember, there's a couple of things that we have to have when we come to group. We need to have sign-in sheets. So we need TAP sign-in sheets and HHSC sign-in sheets. Make sure, now we say this every day, make sure I can read it. If you're not sure, ask your partner there, ask your friend sitting next to you, can you read my name? And if they can't read your name, probably I can't read your name. So we want to make sure that the names are legible and can be read. So the other thing that you bring to group is your book. So make sure you have your book with you. This morning, we are going to look at the book a little bit, but we also, this morning we're going to be looking at how exercise helps in our mental health along with our physical health. Because this week we're talking about the thing that we're kind of pointing at this week, physical health. So we're going to look at physical health. We're going to look at what it says in the book here for a moment. So what do you think our goal is for today? What exercise? Yeah, getting ourselves ready for exercise.
Talk about physical health.
To talk about physical health. All those we're going to do. The goal, however, is to learn how physical health is going to help me in my recovery. How's it going to help me in my recovery? How does it help my mental health? How does it help my physical health? That's the goal. So people in North out over there, y'all remember the goal, and we'll see if we can make that goal by the end of the day. Also, we do have a question, and let me share this with you before we begin. Before we ask the question, this is our activity that we do every day. So please don't, and that's don't, do not, don't do it If you know the answer to the question, then you are brilliant. You are fabulous. You're good looking and your feet don't stink. But don't blurt it out. Do not blurt it out. Don't do it. Just don't do it. If you're right now thinking about, I know the answer, don't do it. Just don't do it. You know, that's not hard. Just what?
Just don't do it.
Don't do it. That's brilliant. Don't do it. That's all right.
Don't do it.
Here's the question. I want y'all to be thinking about this, and sometimes in the middle of the second half of this, we'll reveal the answer. What is the largest? What is the largest and the smallest countries in the world? That's easy. What's the largest and look, immediate, look, surgeon.
You say countries or country?
Well, look, it got to be at least two of them, Sir Joe. One of them is the biggest one in the entire whole world, and the other one is the smallest one in the entire whole world. So there's got to be at least two. So what's the biggest country in the world, and what's the smallest country in the world? If you know it, is that what you want to answer the question? We said don't answer it. We're going to answer it.
Don't do it.
We're going to don't do it 35 times. Don't do it. I know the answer to that. Yeah. Well, that's good because you're brilliant. But hang on to it. You're brilliant, but you're not patient. Hang on to it to the next to the next part of the thing, and then we'll get it. And we'll give you an opportunity to share your knowledge. And look, we've had a couple of people, one here and one at North, who have answered questions, and they have donuts that are owed them. So on Friday, it's going to be a donut day. So on Friday, everybody that gets the things correctly will get a donut. Now, there's a lady at the other facility. She had an idea what yesterday's question was, and she got a little bit of it, but she didn't get all of it. And she is the one who won the donut over there, okay? So she said, since I got a part of the answer correct, I need a donut and a donut hole. Is that how it works? No. you got to get the whole question. So y'all be thinking about that. You know, it's and some people it's not going to surprise. Some people know. I know the first time that I studied it, it surprised me a little bit. So the biggest country in the world and the smallest country in the world. Now, if you have your book, that's a good thing because you brought it to group, right? That's what we're supposed to be doing. So whatever you're doing now, writing letters to your family, taking a quick nap, scratching things, whatever you're doing now, take your book and get over here to this page right here and look. That page is 21. We need to know where page 21 is. Okay? So what's on page 21?
Physical, emotional, spiritual, family health.
Right. On page 21, we have physical, emotional, wait a minute. Physical, emotional, spiritual, and family needs. Why do we have this page here that has all of these things on it?
Very important.
It is very important. This is what our program is built all around. We want to get healthy in these 4 areas of our lives. If we can get healthy in these 4 areas in our lives, it's going to help us to stay in our recovery. So each week, now we don't have to stay right on that because sometimes it's kind of hard to do that when you're teaching. So we can move off of that. We might go far afield sometimes and go do something a little bit different. But we do need to know that these are the 4 places that we're looking. Now, this week happens to be physical. We talked a little bit about that yesterday, but I want to go over this real quickly because I want us to know that we have a place where we want to get in each one of these. So the very first one is poor. If my health is poor, if my physical health is not good, and it says here, look, that says interested, but it's supposed to be uninterested or disinterested. And unengaged in physical health concerns, poor nutrition, poor or non-existent physical activity. Know anybody like that? Don't have any physical activity going on in my life at all. Just don't exercise at all. The most exercise I get is breathing. Stuff like that. So, and just eating all kinds of stuff. And look, I will tell you that there's a lot of stuff that we eat in here that's not all that good for us. I see people eating Pop-Tarts and all of that kind of stuff, and, that's just not good. So, sometimes you can't help it. If that's what there is, that's what there is. But we need to strive to lessen some of that. We also need to strive to get some type of physical activity going on in our life. Just getting up and walking around is something. Now, that doesn't mean like one individual there got up and walked out of group and just left. That's not the type of physical activity I'm talking about. Sometimes we have mindfulness walks. We do stuff like that. When we go outside of here, I feel really impressed, and I feel really happy about the fact that a lot of the time we take breaks. I go out there, and there's several guys out there exercising. That's a good thing. We need to continue to do that. Don't pull the fence down, But it's good to be doing something when we get out of here. If nothing else, just walk around back out in the back of the yard there. Get a little something going on. At some point, we need to get to the place where we're contemplating it. You've thought about making better physical health choices, but you've not yet developed a plan, or you don't have an idea of where to start. Where do you start if you want to get a physical situation going on? If you want to get a physical plan going, where do you start?
Your brain.
In your brain. Man said in your brain. Okay, well, that'll work. You start right away. Start somewhere. Do something. You don't have to go and be Arnold Schwarzenegger. You don't have to go and be, an advanced bodybuilder right off. You just need to do something. Just do something. Just get up and move. If you've been sitting on the couch for 35 minutes, you've been there way too long. Get up, move, walk around, do something. And when somebody says, why are you walking around so much? Well, because I'm trying to get a little bit of health going on, and everybody's going to be okay with that. Now, walking through group, that's not okay. That's not okay. If you're not part of the group that day, stay the heck out of the group. But if it's break time or if it's your free time or something, be walking around. Try to do a little something. Get a plan. I'm going to become mobile. That's a good idea. It's a good plan. It's going to help in our recovery. That's why we talk about it. Then there's preparing. You're actively thought about, or you have actively thought about improving your physical health. Let me share this with you. Some of you guys look pretty healthy. Some of you look pretty unhealthy, but there's not a person in the room that could not get more healthy, right? We can all get more healthy. And as we get more healthy, that's going to help us mentally, physically, and to maintain our recovery. What happens when I don't feel good? Well, you go kind of down. When I don't feel good, I can easily get into a victim stance. What's that mean? I'm feeling really sorry for myself. I'm feeling bad about things. I'm feeling bad about my life. I'm feeling bad about who I am. I'm feeling bad about my health and whatever. And when I get into a victim stance, what happens?
Puts you at risk.
Say it again.
Puts you at risk.
It does. It puts you at risk. At risk for what?
Relapse.
Relapse. When I'm in a victim stance, look, I can go used anytime I want to. I feel like, nobody loves me, everybody hates me, I might as well go eat worms. And so as a victim, I need to go do what I know will make me feel better, right? And so that's when I'm like you said, where I'm at risk. Then we get to this place where we take action. It says you've already begun taking steps to improve your physical health, but you've not yet practiced consistently or gained a state of maintenance. I'm doing something. And doing something is a big deal. I'm walking, maybe I'm exercising outside, I'm thinking about it, but I'm not yet gotten myself where this is what I do. So I need to get to the place where this is what I do. And when I get to that place, when, what did we say about a habit? We can get a habit going in about 3 weeks if we're really serious about it. We get up every morning and we do this. We get up every morning, do a couple of push-ups and do a few of these things, and then walk around outside a little something, make a habit out of it. Then that's what we're going to do, and it's going to help me stay in my recovery. When I feel good, it's easier for me to do the things that are right for me. When I don't feel good, it's not. And so when I'm active and when I'm exercising and when I'm getting myself healthy, that's what helps me feel good. Yeah. So the last thing says, look, we got it in that maintenance place. You're pleased with your physical health and the ongoing efforts being made to maintain your physical health. You feel good. I was coming to work this morning, and I took a circuitous route, and I was going the long way because I was early, and I just didn't want to be there right then. So I was coming from the gym, and there was a young man on the side of the road, and he just stopped running. And when he had finished running, he was just walking down the side of the road. But, he had his chest poked out. He was walking at a good clip. He felt good about who he was. It's kind of egotistical. Y'all remember those days? He was kind of egotistical and all of that kind of stuff. But he looked good, he felt good, and he acted like he looked good, and he acted like he felt good. So when we feel good, we can get to that place where we look good, we feel good, and things happen well in our life. Right? All right. So what's on the board? These guys are in the gym, and they're working out. This guy's got way too much weight on him. He's trying to get it up. This guy here, his arms are stretching out because he got just a little bit too much weight. What's that telling us? It's really, really good to have a program of exercise, whatever that program is, but we need to make sure that we don't get into a place where we're overdoing it. We don't want to get in there and hurt ourselves. See what she just did? What'd she do?
Indulge.
She forced that guy to get up and do some exercise. Right? She forced him to get up and walk out. It's a really good thing. Look, it's a really good thing to get your heart rate up, right? You need to get your heart rate up, let your heart rate go back down, right? So how long should your heart rate stay up when you're exercising? 30 minutes. It's according to what type of exercise you're doing and what type of shape you're in. If you're in really bad shape, your heart rate's going to go up when you break wind, right? Your heart rate's going to go up when you think real hard. Your heart rate's going to go up when you get out of bed in the morning. Yeah. But if you're in really good shape, the better shape you're in, the quicker your heart rate's going to come back down. So what's the bottom part of your heart rate? You got your blood pressure. When you take your blood pressure, you got 180 up here and 90 down here. What's the 90? Okay.
The time your heart rates.
That's when your heart is resting. Right. Your heart rests between beats. And so the top number is when it is shooting the pressure out. and the bottom part is when your heart's taking a break. So what does it mean when the bottom number is way too high?
Hypertension.
You have hypertension, high blood pressure, and your heart is not resting. So that's why it's very important to watch that bottom number. And if your heart is not resting, then you need to do something because you're in bad shape. There should be, if your heart is never resting, should you go see your doctor? Absolutely. And I'm going to guarantee he's going to put you on exercise and diet. So that's what we need to be looking at. You don't have to go to the doctor to know if you need to be on a diet. I'm on one right now. And so you don't need to go to the doctor to know that, look, I'm 40 pounds overweight, maybe I should not be. And you also, if you get up, you take 2 steps and you feel really, really bad and your heart goes racing and all of that stuff, it might be time to do 1 or 2 things. You really need to do some exercise, and you need to start off really slow, and you may need to go see your doctor and say, hey, because there are some diseases that's going to cause you to do those things, and some of those are with or your heart. Your heart can cause you to have some issues. Now, here's the deal. We're going to go over, I've got quite a bit of stuff here, so we're going to go real quickly. But we need to, what I want us to focus on is the fact that mental health is benefited from your exercising. So if we're having some issues, we see so many people nowadays that have issues with depression, anxiety, bipolarism, schizophrenia, all sorts of things. Everybody on some type of medication. Everybody has some type of diagnosis, right? Why do you think that's so prevalent right now that so many people have so many diagnoses?
Life.
What is it?
Life.
What is it?
Just life.
Just life. Okay, I don't buy that. What else? Anybody got another plan? Well, there's a lot of pharmaceutical companies out there, and look, those people have to make a living too, right? So you just need to take your medicine. A lot of the times, look, if we can get ourselves in better shape, we can get off some of the medications that we're taking. Now, that doesn't mean for you to get off your medication. Once you get in shape, that means you go to your doctor and say, hey, look, my blood pressure is going down. Look, this isn't happening anymore. My heart's not racing anymore. You go tell them and let them take you off the medication, right? So here's the deal. Research has shown us that people who exercise regularly, what does regularly mean?
Daily.
I think exercising daily is a great idea. I don't do it. I go to the gym 3 times a week this morning and enjoyed myself. I joined a new gym yesterday. There's a Planet Fitness right over there that's about 3 minutes from the office. I didn't go there today because I have another gym that's back in my hometown that's it's free, and this one for me is free as well. I have pretty good insurance. So, but we need to be doing it on a regular basis. If we make it a habit, then it's going to become something that we're used to doing. We're going to do it, and let me tell you this: what does exercise do when you get your heart rate up? What happens? It does bring blood pressure up a little bit. You burn a bunch of calories. Your brain also releases dopamine. And what does that do? It makes you feel good. Dopamine is your body's own natural opiates. And whereas as addicts, we can't go take opiates. We can't go have a nice cold beer or anything like that. The opiates that come from your body's own situation is completely okay, right? It's natural, it's normal, it'll make you feel good. Is that funny? It'll make you feel good. So that's why you see people, you go here at that gym and take a look. Y'all don't go right now, but when you get out of here, y'all go to the gym and take a look. people can go in there, they're kind of dragging. I was over there yesterday and I saw a couple of elderly ladies go in there and they were just kind of, so okay. But you watch them when I didn't stick around to watch them come out, but you watch them coming out and there's a complete difference in the way that they're doing things. They're walking in a little bit, down in the mouth and all of that kind of stuff, but they're going to come back out with their backs straighter, their chest out, and they're looking good. Because the body, your brain, has released dopamine into their system, and they've got that little bit of high that the system's giving them. And that's perfectly all right. And that's part of it. That's one of the reasons I go to exercise, because it makes me feel good. When I get through exercising in the morning, I feel great. And I walk out of there feeling good and feeling not only just feeling good physically, I feel good about myself. I have accomplished something this morning. I had a great time in the gym this morning, accomplished something, got in there, and I wasn't in there, but I wasn't in there an hour, but I was in there long enough to get a little bit of work done, feel good, get my blood pressure up, get my heart rate up, and then come back out. So, and I may go to the new gym for about half an hour this afternoon. I fully believe that, if you go over there and just watch other people exercise, it'll help you out. You get better health by osmosis. That's not true. You got to go do it yourself. But, I may run by there and just do some stuff. So, here's the deal. Research has shown that people who exercise regularly tend to be more resistant to many mental illnesses. Exercise can help treat current symptoms. If I have a symptom, if I'm in depression, if I'm an anxious individual, some of those things going on in my life, I have anger issues, all of those kinds of things, exercise can help treat those. I'm an anger management counselor as well, CART, and I prescribe exercise to my patients. When they come in and they see me, it's always on the third week, and on the third week after they're there, I prescribe. They get a treatment plan, and I prescribe on their treatment plan that they go to the gym. It could have something to do with the fact that I get a little kickback from the gym. That's not true. That went through everybody. That's not true. What it does do is help them deal with their anger. I had one guy come back and tell me, he said, you know what, I just about tore them weights up. So, okay, that's fine. You can tear the weights up, but you can't tear people up, and that helped him deal with his anger. It brought them down to a manageable level. It says, look, exercise can help treat current symptoms also. If you don't have any mental health issues or any physical issues, exercising can help head that off. Exercise can help keep that from happening in your life. But if it's already happened, because there's a whole lot of other things that's going to cause mental and physical issues in your life, right? There's a whole lot of other things. There's stuff that you have no control over that's going to cause all of that kinds of stuff. I have a friend, I'm a pastor, and my youth pastor's brother got shot. And he lives in Ohio. And I had never heard of it before, but somebody shot him and shot his brain, hit him right back here and clipped his brain stem off. Now, I have never heard of anybody getting shot and it knocked their brain stem off. Have you ever? It cut right through his brain stem. What a shock that was. Of course, he's in the hospital. He's still hooked up all the machines and everything, but he's brain dead at this point, And so that's good. She's in pretty bad shape. She didn't make it to church on Sunday. She's part of our worship team, and she's our youth worker and all of that kind of stuff. And she didn't make it because her brother got shot in the head and he's brain dead. Can you see how that would cause some people to have some depression issues? Can you see how that would make people be a little bit anxious and all of those kinds of stuff? So some of the things that happen in our life, we don't really have any control over, but they still can have some control over us. So something horrific like that, can exercise help that? Can exercise help the depression that she has in her life? Yeah, it can, because no matter what happened, no matter how horrendous and how stupid whatever happened, then exercise still is going to release those dopamines. Exercise still going to bring your heart rate up. Exercise still going to do what exercise does, right? So it's still going to be good for you. It can also prevent future episodes. Most of the people who come to see me because they have anger issues, depressive issues, or things like that are not healthy people. People who are really healthy, they're feeling good, they're exercising every day, they're eating the right foods, they're getting enough sleep every night. I don't see those people. When people come see me, they tell me stuff like, I can't keep from getting angry. I'm depressed. I have all this anxiety in me. I've been diagnosed with bipolarism, all of this kinds of stuff. And I'm not eating well. I don't ever exercise. I'm 35 pounds overweight. And what? So it's the people who are not healthy or not exercising that I see in my other office. It's not healthy people. And once those people get healthy, or get healthier even if you can get 10% healthier, it helps, right? It's 10% healthier, 15% healthier, helps. As they get healthier, going 5, 10, 15%, not trying to become Arnold Schwarzenegger overnight, those people I see less and less of. And at some point, they quit coming. I don't see them anymore. Why is that? Yeah, they don't need me anymore. They don't need me anymore. They don't need, they don't need a doctor at all anymore. They're in pretty good shape, so they're going to go off and do what they do. So what problems can exercise help with? What do you think?
Stress.
Depression, yeah. If we have a mental illness, or if we have in our situation, there might be a chance that we're going to have some mental illness. Exercise can help us with depression. This is the mental side of it. It can help us with depression. It can help us with anxiety. One of the big things for us, it can help us with substance abuse. That's a big deal for me. Here's the deal. If I'm trying to stay healthy and I'm trying to exercise to make myself healthy, then I'm certainly not going to put something in my body that's going to make me less healthy just by itself. I know everybody in here has done some exercise, and we all know that exercise is work. It's hard work. You go over and grab one of those weights, and I'm going to guarantee you, they get heavier as you go along. It's a lot. That's a lot of hard work. But I'm going to tell you the benefits of work the work. And so if I'm exercising, getting myself in good shape, getting myself healthy, I'm eating right, I'm exercising, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm certainly not going to go back to using methamphetamines or cocaine or alcohol or anything like that that's going to tear down my health. It's going to tear my health down. The other thing that I'm not going to do, because it's so terribly unhealthy, is use tobacco products of any kind. I know most people in here do, and but I'm not gonna do that. A lot of times at break time, I feel the cancer genes trying to take a hold when I go outside, and all of the counselors and all of the clients are all this whole big fog of cancerous stuff, this cancer causing fog is floating through. And I said, man, I can't do that. I can't, when I go outside, I can't breathe, and so Anyway, it's going to help us with our substance abuse if we think about it that way. It also helps with bulimia. Exercise helps with bulimia. What's bulimia? You don't know what bulimia is? What's bulimia, Miss Kim? You know what that is?
Bulimia?
Yeah.
It's an eating disorder where people binge eat and then make themselves throw up.
That's exactly right. It's an eating disorder characterized by regular, often secretive bouts of overeating.
Exercise.
Followed by self-induced vomiting, or it's called purging, strict dieting, extreme exercise associated with persistent, excessive concerns about our body weight. So, bulimia, it can help with that. As we exercise, what happens? As we get in better shape, as our muscle tones come up and look better, and our stomachs get a little bit flatter, and we, all of those things, we start looking a little better. What happens?
We eat less.
Say it again.
We eat less.
We can eat less, but the reason that helps is because our self-image is improving. I feel better about the way I look, then I feel better. And if I feel better about the way I look, there's no need for me to overeat and purge because I'm feeling better about who I am and what I am. So it helps with that. It also helps with Alzheimer's disease. They have proven that regular, strenuous exercise helps Alzheimer's patients. It's one of the hardest things in the world to get them into a regular routine. Why do you think that is? They forget it. They forget it. I have a lady in our church. She's 72, I think, but she has Alzheimer's very bad. And when I go to visit with them. Her husband has to reintroduce me to her every time. And I'm not talking about when I go to the door. I'm talking about 8 times doing the 30-minute visit. I go sit down, and she'll be sitting there, and she'll turn around and say, "Oh, well, who are you?" "Oh, well, I'm your pastor, "Oh, hello," and and she'll look off this way when she looks back. And it's just a horrific, one of the worst diseases there is out there. But research shows that if we exercise strenuously, regularly, it can help with that. So, what else does it help with? This is still some mental issues, but it's also things that are just outside the realm of mental issues. It goes over to physical stuff. It can help you with sleep disorder. If you are having problems sleeping, exercise. Before you go to bed, about an hour before you go to bed, exercise. Go exercise, and that's going to line your body out, let your body know it's time to rest. So an hour after you've exercised, it's time to rest. So it's going to help with sleep difficulty. And look, I've talked to so many people in early recovery that have sleep difficulty. Why is that?
Stress.
All of the stress and all of the stuff, that's all part of it. But look, where in your body does addiction reside? In your brain. Right, in your limbic system. And your limbic system is not getting the fuel that it needs, and it thinks you're going to die. And it's trying, don't sleep, find drugs. Don't sleep, get drugs. Don't sleep, find some alcohol. Don't sleep, get some drugs. Wait until you go to group and to sleep. Obviously, that's what some people, limbic system tells them, because they seem to find the opportunity to do so when people say, well, I just don't sleep at all. You're a light sack of salt off that big CBD, you slide, you sleep every day and groove. So, you get some sleep. I'll watch you do it. So anyway, it helps with sleep difficulty. Exercise will help you with it. Exercise, look, what's the one big thing that causes so many health issues in the U.S. today? Other than smoking cigarettes. One big thing other than tobacco.
Not getting enough sleep.
What's that again?
Not getting enough
sleep. Well, that's true, but that's not the number one thing. Stress. Just stress. There's stress in everybody's life. And there's, and in every situation we have stress. If you don't have stress, then you're not alive. You have passed away, and you're not quite sure about it yet. You're passed away, right? So, if you exercise regularly and strenuously, it will help with that stress. Why will it help with stress? You're singing in groove. That's stressing me a little bit. That's disruptive on a way high level. So don't do that. So why would exercise help with stress? It does release endorphins into your body, and it helps you get a better self-image of who you are. Look, there's a lot of people out there that stress every day about how they look. You think that's true?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When I'm going to town, Saturday, I had to go do some stuff, and then I came back to get my wife, and I said, you ready to go to town? Not quite. Why?
You didn't look good.
She didn't look good enough. She has a bag, and I think it's the funniest little old thing. It's just a bag about this big, and it's a good-sized little bag, but it says, my face is in this bag. And it got a lot of makeup and stuff in there. And, when I say, look, I got to get ready to go, that means I got to go put a shirt on. But my wife's going to go. She has one of these mirrors that on one side of it is a normal mirror. The other side of it blows your face up about that big, so you can pick the chin hairs and all of that kind of stuff. Well, she's going to be at the front of that thing for about an hour, 30 minutes, or it seems like 2 days, but she's in there for a while before, and everything has to be on there, just like, and if she left the house without doing that, would that be stressful for her? Oh, absolutely that would be, because that's going to hurt her self-image. So she has to do what she has to do to get herself for her self-image in. So if we got a good self-image, that's going to bring down some of that stress. And the only way to do that, or one way to do that, is to exercise and get our body to where we're okay with how we look. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's just like me. I stress a lot because I've never been this small. I've always been too trying to at the hour. That take a lot of toll off. I mean, it's worse.
Well, yeah, I can understand that. If you suddenly lose a lot of weight, that could be stressful. But also, you look like you're about at the weight you need to be. So sometimes it's a good thing to lose some weight.
True.
Yeah, I got some weight off of me. But if you're losing weight that's unexplained and you can't deal with, we need to go to the doctor and say, hey, look, and they'll cause stress. Yeah. And somebody destroying the kitchen, that's stressful. So anyway, it's going to help bring down some stress. It's also going to help our physical health in every area. It's going to help your physical health. Look, when we're exercising, your body was designed to exercise. How do you know that? How do you know your body was made for exercise? Meant to be exercised?
Yes, if you don't exercise, you're going to get weak.
If you don't exercise, it gets weaker. If you do exercise, it gets stronger and more healthy. If you go over here and exercise your biceps, they will get bigger. When you exercise your biceps, you rip the muscle tissue, and then the muscle tissue grows back and it gets bigger. So if it didn't get bigger, if you just got tired, you would know that really wasn't what God had in mind. But when you go over there and you exercise and you do all of those kinds of things, they get bigger. So you know you were designed to exercise. Whatever job you have, whatever physical thing that you have to do, you can work your muscles to the point where they will get to the place where they can do the job. Because that's, God made you that way. Made some of you ugly too, but that's, who knows what he would do. So the other thing is, look, it's going to help your physical health, whatever that is. It's also going to help the fact that a lot of us have low energy. That's why you can't stay in group. That's why you can't stay awake in group. That's why you can't, stay focused. And that's why anything will pull us away. And y'all wouldn't believe it, but if you had the opportunity to be here and watch anything, a bird flies by, our attention is gone. Especially if somebody comes in, and in this classroom here, it lends itself to that. We had 35 people coming in and going. They're all going to go talk to Miss Kim. They come in. There is no way on the face of the earth that we could wait till group is over. I've got to go tell her something right now. And so they go, and every one of us. I wonder what he said to her. I wonder what's going on. Maybe we ain't gonna get fed today. All of that. So it's just amazing. But if we exercise, it will bring that low energy up. And bring that energy to a place where I can stay awake. I can pay attention. I can do what I have to do. I can walk. I can talk. There's people right now that when Miss Charnel said, okay, we're going to do a mindfulness walk, I see people go, a mindfulness walk? Does that mean we're going to have to walk off of the facility? Yeah, she goes all the way around the block. I see people panicking over there. I was back in the Army, we ran 5 miles a day. 5 miles a day, 5 days a week. 5 miles. That's a long way. Used to take my car keys, put my car keys right here in my belt. About 3 miles, I can't go anymore. Just drop the car keys. I have dropped my car keys. I'll catch up with you guys. I got to get because I have got to get my car keys. I dropped them. After about the 35th time, they caught on. So I had to go do it. But it will look. If you don't have the energy to do something and you don't feel like you can do it, you need to do it. If you get to the place where you do it more and more, suddenly you've got some more energy. Suddenly it's built your energy level up to where you can participate on a higher level. In life, somebody said that a while ago, it's just life. If you want to participate in life at a higher, better level, you need to exercise at a higher, better level so that you see he's doing it now, getting up in the middle of the group to go exercise. That's not necessarily a good thing, but So the other thing, look, exercise does what else? One other thing that exercise is going to do for us on a very high level is to build your self-esteem. Do we all know that we all have self-esteem? We all esteem ourselves. Some of us esteem ourselves kind of low, right? We have low self-esteem. I'm not worth much. I don't count for much. I'm not this. I'm not that. Then other people have very high self-esteem. Some people's self-esteem is just kind of flowing along. Where should my self-esteem be? I should have high self-regard for myself. I should have high self-esteem. But really, if I can't look at anything that I've done to give myself any high self-esteem, I at least ought to know that, hey, you know what? I am a child of the Most High God, whether you believe Him or not. That's who I am. And so that in itself gives me some high self-esteem. And I'm not bad at some things. There's some things that I just feel good about myself. And so, I can build my self-esteem on that level. The other thing is if I go and exercise, how does that build my self-esteem?
You know you're capable of doing more.
That's a good point. Yeah, I am capable of doing more than I thought I could. I have taken a lot of people to the gym with me. Guys at the church and all of that kind of stuff that were just kind of, they weren't doing anything. They wanted to go. And so I take them to the gym with me. And you put just 25 pounds on each side of on the barbell. What's that? If you put 25 pounds, how much is it?
95 pounds.
Yeah, about 95 pounds. And so you get those guys, and when you bring them up there, they'll tell you, well, I can't lift that. What? I can't push that up. What? Yes, get under there and give it a shot. And they always surprise themselves. They've never lifted any weight at all. They always surprise themselves. What's problematic, I had one guy I took with me, one of our deacons, a big old boy, and he went through the whole gym, didn't find anything he liked. But you know what a calf machine is?
Yeah.
You get underneath it, you got the weight on your shoulder, you do this. See, most people, you work out so you knew. Most people would have said 50 pounds. But you got to count the bar. The bar weighs 45 pounds. 45 pounds, a heavy bar. So, yeah, he was doing this, and he was doing, I said, well, I can do that. So he put like 700 pounds, and I told him, I said, dude, look, don't do a whole lot of that. You're going to get sore tomorrow. He said, So I went and did my whole workout and came back, and I said, okay, look, I'm leaving. You coming? Yeah, let me get a couple more here. Next day, his wife called me. She was mad. She said, look, he can't even go to work. His legs are so sore. I tried to tell him, so don't go be an idiot. Go exercise. Start off slow. Do what you need to do, and it will build your self-esteem because, like you said, I have accomplished something today. If I've not done anything else, if I don't have a job, if I don't have a relationship, if I don't have any money, if I don't have a car, if I don't have anything in the world, I knew a guy who was in that type of situation, and he was wanting to work out, so he got him a broomstick, and he put cinder blocks on each side of it. And he worked out just with cinder blocks. And after a while, he had 2 more cinder blocks on there. He broke his thing one day, but so he had to go get another one. But he did get some working out done. He did what he had to do to get that done. So with all of that crap going on in your life and everything, you still build your self-esteem because you have accomplished something. Right? You've accomplished something. So he got out there and accomplished something and built, and that will help build your self-esteem. Now let me ask you this. Is that true for everybody? Now, there's always those outliers, right? There's always people who, no matter what they do, no matter how they work their lives, are they ever going to feel good about themselves? They're not. They're not. And those people have a mental disconnect, and there's nothing you can do about that. But the normal person who does a good workout comes out of that place, they're going to feel better about themselves than when they went in the gym. That they're building their self-esteem. And a lot of that is because I accomplished something today. The other thing is I look better naked. That's why you see a lot of people where back in the Army, way back in the Army in the 70s, in Germany, not in the States. In the States, you had to wear your shirts tucked in, your uniform, look good. They decided in Germany and all of those other areas, they were going to go with their shirts out. And so they fought it. All the old soldiers, man, we don't want to do that. That doesn't look good. And then the older sergeants began to figure out that if I pull my shirt out, it kind of hides my stomach. And so, they suddenly, okay, yeah, let's do that. So they now, I don't know what they're doing now, but when I left Germany, they all had their shirts still out because it was a good thing for them. So here's the deal. Beginning an exercise plan or an exercise program does not have to be hard. It doesn't have to be difficult. If we start walking for as little as 30 minutes a day, that's 3 times a week maybe. Don't have to do it every day. Walk 30 minutes 3 times a week. That's going to be very helpful. If you do it less than 3 times a week, it's not all that beneficial. If you do it more than 3 times a week, it hasn't been proven to be more beneficial. Did y'all hear earlier when I said I go to the gym 3 times a week? It's based on that understanding. You have to do it 3 times a week before it to do anything. If you're bodybuilding, you want to get bigger, you need to learn to stay out of the gym. You go and you really exercise, really extenuously, really hard, and then you stay off that body part for a week. Give it a chance to grow. You rip it up and then let it grow. And all of the big guys do that. Now you'll see them in the gym every day, but they're working a different body part. They're not working the same thing every day. So, just a little bit. Walking 30 minutes 3 times a week has found to be beneficial. Don't worry too much about what exercise you choose. Doesn't make any difference. You just need to do something. Do something. Push-ups are great. There's a push-up where you don't do a full on the floor push-up. You push up against the table. It's called an incline push-up. Push up against the table. Push up against the desk or something, or your bed, which is a little farther down on the floor. You can push up. Push-ups are great. Doesn't matter what you do, just need to do something. Aerobic and anaerobic exercises are both effective at improving mental health. What's the difference? One is aerobic. One is anaerobic. What's the difference?
Aerobic is where you're pumping your cardiovascular, you're taking oxygen, trying to get your cardiovascular system burning fat. Anaerobic is more weightlifting.
Okay. So aerobic exercise would be walking, jogging, biking, elliptical machines, those machines where they pedal and stuff like that, ski machine, swimming is aerobic exercise, dancing is aerobic exercise. Anaerobic exercise is, like you said, weightlifting, do a lot of that. Sprinting, I don't do a lot of that. Running, biking, etc. Interval training. What is interval training? That's where I sprint, then go pick up weights. Then I run some more, go pick up weights. Go jump rope a while, go pick up weight. Just interval training. Do it like that. Or climbing. Some of the gyms have big old walls that you can climb up, and that's a good exercise. So, but if you're crunched for time, how many people have enough time to go do all those exercises and stuff they want to do? Okay. He does. Sometimes it's a crunch for time for me because I have to go in the morning. I don't have to go in the morning. I choose to go in the morning. But I get up at 4 in the morning, and then the gym that I'm going to over in my other town over there, it opens at 5:30. So that gives me time to get up, study a little while. I read some in the Old Testament, some in the New Testament, and then I go to the gym. And it's a little bit of a crunch for time. Sometimes I go in the gym and I'm only there 30 minutes. And I've driven 20 miles to get to the gym. So if you're crunched on time, you might still be able to squeeze some exercise into your day. 2 15-minute walks, 1 10-minute walk, any kind of anything is going to help, and it will work just as well as a 30-minute walk. But here are some tips that you need to that will help you if you're crunched for time and stuff. It says, look, you need to make a phone call. If you got to call somebody, the way that our phones are designed today, you can walk and talk. And I see people doing that all the time. Now, we don't have phones in here, but we can walk and talk. Now, what's problematic, I see a ton of people, when they get on the phone, they find a place to sit. I guess they want to give their total attention to whoever's on the phone. But instead, walk. While you're talking to that person, just walk and talk. You're getting done whatever you need to get done on the phone, but you're still moving. You also need to get yourself a partner, an exercise partner who's going to hold you accountable. I had a guy that was helping me, and it was hard to get rid of him, but I had to get rid of him. When you got somebody helping you with your bench press, they're supposed to just get just a little bit of help. Not just to break it over. But every time I got a little bit of strain going, this guy would jerk it up, like about to fall on me and kill me. So what a nutcase. So get you somebody just to hold you accountable. Let's go walking today. Let's go do this today. Park at the back of the parking lot. I do that. My wife parks at the front as close as she can. She has physical issues, and so she can get into the disabled parking spots, and so she does that. But I can park at the end of the parking lot and walk into the store. So that helps me out a lot. I do that. Do an activity that you really enjoy, and it won't be a chore. I like working out. I like fooling with weights. I've been doing that since I was about 28 years old. After I got out of the military, came back to the States, I started fooling with it. In the military, you don't have time to do weight training, but once I got out and everything, I was 24 years old. I started probably 25, and then been playing with them ever since. I enjoy that, so it's not like it's a chore. It's something fun to do. Skip the elevator and take the stairs. I do that. I did that the other day. I found a battery in the middle of the road. I picked it up, and it was in a black case, and I opened it up, and it was for the Beaumont EMS. So I called them, and they said, yeah, that's ours, bring it home. So I went by their offices over there on College Street, and I asked the guy, the guard out there, I said, hey, where's the EMS office? It's upstairs. There's an elevator over there, and there's the stairs. So it's one floor. And there's people going up. There's only that one floor. And there's people going over there getting the elevator to go up one floor. So I went up the stairs. I was up the stairs and at their office before the elevator got up there. So wasn't much. All right, last thing. Head outside for 10 minutes during lunch. If you have a lunch break and you got an hour to go outside or go get you some lunch or something like that, take 10 minutes to walk around. Do a little something. All right, so I can see that everybody wants to go outside and exercise. So let's take 15 minutes to go exercise.
So. Yeah, I really need you. Hey. Richard said virus is cool. I think virus is easy. I don't know where to go. But we always do virus part. I have one more question.
David,
Now,
are you missing a cigarette lighter?
I don't know, am I? Yes. What?
What color is it?
White?
They said they thought it might be yours. You almost had two or three, or how many you got? I know, in fact, it's so funny, like, I had so many lighters that I wish them, because I don't, this is the most I've ever smoked. Not, like, in years, probably like 6 or 7 years. Anyway, so I lose them, and then I'll look like this. And all of a sudden, I found all the lighters, and I was like, oh, it's like my 30th days. This is crazy.
Hey, man, is that house any letters or pre-stamp for?
Okay, so, well, somebody's missing the lighter, I got it.
Alright, got a license,
It was on the bench, so my, the last time I checked, they set it down. Let me see about that.
got a lighter for straight for cigarette. Oh, yeah.
We gotta keep her humble.
Hey, you throw exercise. You do? Mm-hmm. Exercise. All right. Oh, yeah. That's it. Okay, yeah. How about it? How about it? Look at that. Oh, skin. Oh, no. Oh,
Take it down.
yes. Oh, this is that's what it is.
I'm like, really? Well, I was gonna do it earlier. Got
Yeah. I got movies.
Huh?
I got movies.
You got what? You wanna go fill it up? We ain't got it.
That's what let's go back.
After hour.
All righty then. It's time for us to get started. We're going to be in the same vein. We're not going to change things. We're still talking about how exercise is going to help us with our physical health and with our mental health and all of that kind of stuff. Well, I hadn't seen you.
My counselor had me back on for my process. She had me back down.
Oh.
I thought it would be out there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk to her because y'all got a process this afternoon. So.
Yeah, but she do mine, but I can't write. I've been back there all that time. Process.
Okay. Well, that's the whole front part of this thing. It's going to be just about like the second part of this thing. So we're gonna continue to talk about that just a little bit. But continue to think about the question for today. Nobody scream it out, but we need to know the biggest country in the world and the smallest country in the world.
By land, size, and population.
By land, size, or population, man said. Let's just say by land mass, huh? That's it. Biggest country in the world and the smallest country in the world by land mass.
Ain't the United States the biggest country? No.
I said, we just said, don't get it out. Don't scream it out. Don't yell it out. We said, don't do it. Because this is the last one I'm going to do because I'm not going to do any more after this. Nobody, no. Nobody can follow instructions. Nobody cannot, just can't do it. It's impossible. It can't be done, so we can't play the game no more. Today, last one, ain't never doing it again. So look, we all know that that exercise can help us physiologically. What does physiologically mean? My body, my physical body. We know that. We know that exercise helps my physical body. But what we're looking at today, we're focusing on a little bit, is that exercise can also help my mental situation. Whatever's going on with me mentally, so that means that it can also help my psychological situation. So we're going to look at that just a little bit. Beneficial physiological changes of exercise include, and this is what it does physiologically, improve sleep, release and improve metabolism of chemicals. Now, what we're going over on this second part is more in depth what we did already this morning. The release and improved metabolism of chemicals like serotonin and endorphins in the brain and the central nervous system, physical changes to the brain. Exercise increases brain volume and brain blood flow. So, look, how many of us know that if you use drugs and if you use alcohol over a period of 20 to 30 years, your brain shrinks. Your brain can shrink up to 20% of its mass. So that's a whole bunch. So exercise actually can help replace some of that lost mass. It helps to build your brain volume. So if today you're feeling bad, you have some depression, you have some of these other things, you've used drugs and alcohol for all those years, and you know that you have lost some brain volume, is it a good idea to exercise to try to get some of that back? Of course it is. That's an interesting thing. That doesn't mean that it's okay to continue to use drugs and alcohol as long as you exercise your butt off. It doesn't mean that. It means it's going to help a bit. If I have some issues, I'll really be doing whatever exercise I can. And it also increases the blood flow. What does that do? Look, what is blood? Why do you need your blood? Why do you need blood flowing through your brain? What does your blood do?
Provides oxygen.
It provides oxygen to all of every part, every cell in your body. Your blood provides oxygen to every part of that. It also provides food. It feeds your cell. And it brings oxygen and moisture. And everything that a cell needs to live comes from your blood.
It's
So,
like oil to an engine.
say it again.
It's like oil to an engine.
Yeah, every bit of it. And if you read the Bible, it says the life is in the blood. And so that's exactly what, if you don't have blood, your cells don't eat and they don't breathe. How long can you live without eating and breathing? Not very long. So, it increases the blood flow, which improves neural functioning. And neural functioning, when we talk about that, that is when the neurotransmitters, the little electrical impulses, shoot back and forth across your brain. And when you have a thought, it goes from one portion of your brain to the other portion of your brain in the form of neurotransmitters or little electrical impulses that go across your brain. Now, as we exercise, it helps those to work better. So if I'm not thinking clearly, if I have what we refer to as brain fog, then I need to exercise in order to get that stuff going. You're a diabetic. I'm a diabetic. Will that help? Will exercise help diabetes?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It helps diabetes. It will. I have learned that when you exercise, it's going to send your sugar up a minute, but then it will cause it to fall quicker, get back to where it's supposed to be. So, these are some pretty good things. The psychological impact of exercise, and we've already talked about them a little bit. You're going to die? You think you're going to be all right? I saw a part of your lung jump out that time. Yeah. That's pretty bad. It includes heightened. What does heightened mean? Higher, bigger, better self-esteem. The interruption of negative thoughts. The reason a lot of times that we have a low self-esteem in our lives is because we're thinking the wrong things about ourselves. We're thinking we can't be any better. We're thinking we can't do this and we can't do that. We're thinking all of those kinds of things. And when we're exercising, it interrupts those negative thoughts. It's hard for you to think about anything else other than what you're doing when you're exercising. I had a study one time that said as you're exercising, it helps you to have some deep thoughts about and that's not true. Because when you're exercising, you're not thinking about all those other things. You're thinking about if that weight's going to fall on your head or not. So you can't be doing that stuff. But it does interrupt those negative thoughts, because if you're thinking real negative about yourself and everything, and you start jumping rope, you're not going to be thinking those thoughts anymore. It has an increase in healthy social contact. What does that mean? There are other people trying to get better, just like you are, at the gym with you. Other people are in the park running. Other people are in the park doing exercise, doing all those kinds of things. And there's social interaction between you and they if you're just not a total jerk. If you are, you just got to run by yourself and exercise by yourself and all of that kind of stuff. We don't want to do all that. Also, these changes, paired with improvements to your physical health, can vastly improve our overall quality of life. I want to have a good quality of life. I used to go to the nursing home, and I never have liked the name of the nursing home. It's called the Arboretum. Y'all ever heard of the Arboretum? You know the Arboretum. It's a nursing home. There's several of them. They call themselves the Arboretum. What is the Arboretum? A place for plants. It's a place for vegetation. So you're going to take your loved ones and put them in the place for vegetation. You want them to vegetate. Now, anyway, I was in there, and they have a whole room where there's people in there that are in a vegetative state. They're just laying out there. They're in a vegetative state. And so my wife was there with me, and she said, "Don't ever let me get to that place." So I bought a special hammer, and I told her, if you ever look like you want to get on, I'm going to hammerite you. But I don't want to do that either. Quality of life is a big deal, right? I want to have good quality of life. One of the ways that I get good quality life, a good quality of life, is to exercise, get myself in good health, eat right, sleep right, and exercise, right? And you see how that lady walked through there? I know everybody saw that lady walk through there. I saw y'all. Oh, yeah. But do you notice what she was doing? See, look, I wasn't looking at her, but then they could tell, she was talking on the phone. She was, but you notice she was not sitting down somewhere. She was, she's going 100 miles an hour talking on the phone. She was doing both of those things at one time. So she would get some exercise while she was taking care of business at the same time. See, that was I asked her to do it. I didn't, but it was apropos. It worked out pretty well. So that's going to help that. So what mental illnesses benefit from exercise? We talked a little bit about them. We'll talk a little bit more about them. The first one is, of course, depression. And look, I don't know of anyone who wants to be depressed. There are people who are depressed so much, so long, that it becomes normal. This is how I feel. This is how I always feel. I don't realize that there's a different way to feel. I have people in my anger class doing the same thing. They're always angry. They're angry about everything. They're just angry people. They have no idea how it feels to be normal. So they're going to be angry all of the time. So they don't know. So they have to be taught how to be normal. So we don't need to be the people who are going to be depressed all the time. So one of the things that one of the things that exercise does is help us get a little bit away from the depression. It says, look, regular exercise significantly reduces the symptoms of mild to moderate depression. Now, if you're clinically depressed, is exercise going to help you? I really think that it could, but when you're clinically depressed, usually you are in the bed and you can't get out, and it's hard to exercise when you're in the bed. It's hard to do that, and you may need to go get some type of medication or something else to get you out of the doldrums a little bit. So get some therapy, get you out of the doldrums just a little bit. But once you get a little bit out of them, what should you do? Start exercising. Like we said, no one is exercising enough. And so if I have this depressive issue, I need to be willing to do something about it myself. Most of the time, if I have an issue like that, I'm looking to somebody else to do something about it. I want my psychiatrist, my psychologist, my counselor, my doctor, my mama. I want somebody else to do something about it. But we need to take responsibility for it and do something about it ourselves. Exercise is the first step. Get ourselves to eating right, sleeping right, and exercising. One of the big things about sleeping right is exercising. If we exercise, that's going to help us sleep. If we sit around all day long and we watch TV all day long, it's time to go to bed at night. We're not tired. We're not sleepy. We haven't done anything to be tired. Do something to get yourself at that place. It says, look, exercise can, and we've already talked about it, but exercise can prevent the onset or the recurrence of depression. If I'm beginning to feel down, is that depression?
Yes.
It can work into depression. It can morph into depression, but it's not necessarily depression. And I don't want it to become that. So I'm going to go and do some exercise. I'm going to do a little something to head that off. I'm going to do a little something to stop that at the pass. I'm not going to let it catch up. It can help counteract the weight gain. Look, it can help counteract the weight gain that's caused by antidepressant medication. If you're taking antidepressant medication, they can cause you to gain weight. But exercise can help to counteract that, to bring that down.
Most people that I know that got diabetes,
They do. They do. That's because we take a handful of pills, and then we like to eat. And so, we eat all of the wrong things. That's what we're attracted to. So you're right. If we have an anxiety disorder, regular exercise significantly reduces the symptoms of anxiety. I'm not as nervous, not as scared, not as freaked out as I usually am. Exercise can act as a healthy form of exposure to the physical symptoms of panic attacks, such as increased heart rate, sweating. Exposure can help clients become more familiar, comfortable with the sensations that were formerly perceived as dangerous or scary. If you have anxiety issues, have you ever had a panic attack?
My wife did.
Say it again.
I said my wife did them all the time.
No, she didn't. No. You only ever have one panic attack. In your life, you can only ever have one panic attack. Your brain, once you have that one panic attack, it sets up defenses against panic attacks, and you never have another panic attack. So what's that thing that feels like a panic attack? It's the fear of thinking you're going to have a panic attack. So that comes up, and it's just about as bad as a panic attack, but it's not a panic attack. That lets us know that it can be easier dealt with than a panic attack. So, yeah.
She got poison about vegetative advice. Now, with it, she got to take Adderall, she got to take
Well, that's a different mental thing. You know, if somebody does something like that, that's completely different. I'm telling you, you can only have one panic attack, and then the rest, the others that come are the fear that you're going to have a panic attack, and it feels like a panic attack, but it's not really a panic attack. So, you know, but that doesn't make it any less severe. You know, it doesn't make it any less dangerous. But this can also help us, and we talked about substance abuse. Regular exercise reduces the frequency and intensity of cravings. One of the things that got me really easily was cravings. Oh man. You know, coming to work this morning, I was praying, and right in the middle of prayer time, I thought about, you need to go to take a nap. You're going to fall over there. Don't hurt yourself. We're talking about exercise. Don't fall out that chair. And I thought about you know those little cookies that they make banana pudding with? Vanilla wafer. I thought about, man, just one of those cookies would be great. That's addict thinking. Because I know in my knower, if I can go over here to the dollar store and I can get a box of those, they sell just about everything for $1.25. You can get a whole box of those things. They're not the real ones, you know. They're probably made in China, you know. It's not, but they're smaller than the normal ones, but they taste just like them. You know, whatever chemical they put in, they got that same chemical. But I know in my knower, I would no way would I eat one, right? I'll eat that whole box. I'm not, and then I'm gonna lick the box, and then I'm gonna get upset because the box is empty. You know. So craving gets me, but you know, if you go exercise, that the release of serotonin, the release of dopamine into your brain is going to help you with craving. It lessens that craving. Clients who begin exercising are less vulnerable to relapse and are the ones who are most likely to stay in their recovery. One of the things we know as a group of people trying to get into recovery, not everybody in these groups that we're in today are going to make it. We want everybody here to make it. We want everybody a year from now to call back up here and say, hey man, we made it. Well, hadn't used a drop of anything. 5 years from now, we want you to call back and say, but statistics show that's not going to happen. But there's going to be somebody. You know, but those who exercise, those who eat right, sleep right, and exercise are more likely to stay in their recovery than folks who don't. So what does that tell us? We should exercise. It's really, really advantageous for us as addicts to exercise. We need to be about it. You know, if me going over to the gym 3 times a week or 5 times a week or whatever it takes is the difference between me never using again or using, I need to go to the gym. Right? I need to pay the money, go to the gym, do what I need to do. My insurance covers it over here, so it's even better. So some studies have found that it lowers rates of first-time drug use in youth involved in exercise programs. Kids who start exercising at a young age, they usually there's a whole lot less of them that began the use of drugs. Why do you think that is? Say that again. They're more concerned with their health.
They have something to pass their time.
They have something to pass their time. They are very, very concerned with self-image. with how they look, and they're not putting anything. Look, like I said, it's hard work to stay in that kind of shape. It's hard work. So they're not going to go put something in their body that's going to mess up all the work that they've done. So exercise provides a healthy replacement activity for time previously occupied with the drug use. One of the biggest reasons that we relapse is what?
Women.
Women, the man says. Women. That's not true.
Idle time.
What is it?
Idle time.
Idle time. Yeah.
I do it.
You do it because it makes you feel good. Everybody does it because it makes you feel good. When I think about doing it now, it makes me feel stupid. When I think about what I did when I was using it, it makes me feel ignorant.
No.
Oh my God.
Maybe I misunderstood.
So I understand you. The drug, when I put the drug in me, it makes me feel good.
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about life work out.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah, I misunderstood.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sometimes, I'm from Mississippi. Sometimes it don't. One of the biggest reasons we use drugs once we get out of treatment, one of the biggest reasons we relapse. I've talked to probably 1,000 people who relapse, and what they've told me is boredom.
Yeah.
I get bored.
Yes,
I get bored. There's, watching television ain't no fun. Going to the movies is no fun. Going out to eat's no fun. Doing stuff with the family's no fun. Going to the beach is no fun. What's not any fun is the fact that you want to use the drug. Y'all got something else going on back there. We might need to know that. It looks like y'all enjoying the heck out of it. But what we were doing before, the reason we enjoyed it so much because we were high. We used to enjoy watching television. But the reason we enjoyed watching television was because we were high. So now that we're not high, we're bored. So if I go and exercise, if I go work out, if I go do some of these things, it fills up some of that time that I was using, just like you're reading, whatever you're reading there in group, that fills up some of your group time. Doing exercise would fill up some of our idle time, like you said. So, we really don't need to have that idle time. So, that's how it helps us with that. How about eating disorders? Anybody got an eating disorder? You don't have to, I do. I have to eat every day. I'm addicted to it. My wife made me a hamburger for today. I'm going, after I got a little meeting here, after we get through that meeting, I'm going to go over, I'm going to eat that thing. I do it every day, 2, sometimes 3 times a day. I'm going to eat. But some of the exercises found to be more effective than therapy for the treatment of bulimia. Now, we talked about bulimia. What is bulimia? Yeah, we eat, we stuff ourselves, and then we make ourselves purge and throw up and all of that kind of stuff. And so that's a terrible, horrible thing. But exercise helps us to not do that. Why is that? Well, you do get hungry once you exercise. I try to eat a little something after I exercise, but here's the deal. Bulimia is about self-image. Bulimia is about how I look. Some of the people who are, have bulimia, they're very skinny people. They're very small people, but they feel like they're fat. So every time they eat, they get rid of it. It's all about self-image. So if I'm exercising, then I should get to a place where I have better self-image. I feel better about the way that I look. So that's going to help me with the bulimia problem, right? I'm not going to want to be eating and throwing up so much because of that. Excuse me, sir, could you read to yourself? If you're going to read in group, could you read to yourself? That is aggravating. Adding an exercise component improves treatment outcomes for binge eating disorders simply because it helps us with our self-image. I care how I look. You care how you look? Of course you do. We see people grooming themselves in here all the time, because we care about how we look. But we don't get to the place where we have a disorder because of it. So, other benefits, it's going to help with my sleep. It helps with stress release, improve mood, increase energy, slows cognitive decline associated with aging. Now, I know y'all can't tell this, but I'm aging. I'm getting a little older. Let me tell you a little something. So are you. We're all getting a little older. Every day, the only alternative to that is what?
Probation.
Croakification. Yeah. Yeah. That's the only, you're going to either age or not, and if you're not, you're going to die. That's it. That's the only way. So, but exercise slows the progression of the aging process. If you go exercise real well, you will not age as quickly as other people who don't exercise. So that's one more good little tidbit about it. What else? Better physical health, better physical fitness. You're feeling better. You're doing all sorts of good things. Now, here's the deal. We should, if we need some psychotherapy, if we need some help in all of these areas, we should use exercise in conjunction with therapy. Now, we shouldn't go exercise and say, I don't need any therapy anymore. I'm going to go exercise, so I'm going to throw away all of my medications. I don't need them anymore. Now, hopefully, you can get to exercising, get into some better health, get some the right kind of sleep, you get enough the right kind of food, and you're exercising where you can throw away all of those pills. Wouldn't that be good? I want to dump all of that stuff, and exercise is going to help me get to that place. But you can't get to that place by yourself. You can't go and start exercising real hard, throw all your medications away. You've got to get to exercising, go to your doctor, and when the symptoms are starting to go away, then you can drop those off a little bit at a time. I started eating a little better. I'm still nowhere, I'm not anywhere where I need to be, but I take 2 insulins. I take 12 milligrams of one type of insulin every morning. And then when I'm about to eat, I have to take 7 milligrams of a different type of insulin. And when I went up to saw my doctor the last time, I got to see her again this month. But when I saw her the last time, my A1C had come down to a point. She said, if you keep it like that, we're going to take you off that insulin. Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
It's a good thing for me in particular because I can't fly when I'm using insulin. Can't go off can't go rent an airplane and go off by myself because people who they made the rule for type 1 diabetics because a type 1 diabetic they can just pass out, and they're the people they're used to using insulin. But type 2 can use. I'm a type 2. We can use insulin as well to help bring that down. But while I'm using insulin, can't fly. That's crazy.
So type 1 is the one that have diabetic comas?
Yeah, they're the ones who usually are going to go off into a diabetic coma. Now, type 2 can do that as well if you let your stuff, if you eat enough junk, which we're all good at doing, and let it get high enough, you can go into a coma. Yeah, absolutely. But I can't fly because so I got to get off of that stuff. Although we know that exercise can be leveraged to beat mental illness, research tells us little about how to best integrate exercise with psychotherapy. However, preliminary studies indicate that even brief bouts of therapy can motivate clients to begin exercising. So here's the deal. We don't need to get rid of our therapy, and we don't need to get rid of our exercising. We need to use the exercise to help us with the therapy, right? This exercise is going to help you when you have to go for depression, anxiety, whatever it is. You're going to be able to better deal with that. So there's a couple of different ways that we can do that. One is exercising during sessions. You ever went to a therapy session and exercised? I have. You don't do anything extreme. The practice of walking during therapy sessions. You ever thought of that? That's what, Charnel does it. Miss Charnel does it more than most people, but she'll do the mindfulness walk. She wants to get you to taking a look at what you're seeing and getting yourself into the moment and all of these kinds of things. And that's all good, but that's therapy while you're walking, while you're exercising. So that's a good thing. You get both of the good things at one time. So the practice of walking in therapy has become increasingly popular over the last several years. People are doing more and more and more of that, and the benefits are found to have been numerous. Getting out of the office can add a bit of fun to sessions. Getting out of here sometimes. Don't y'all like to get out of here?
Yeah.
Just walk around and do something. And, since we've started doing it like we're doing it right now, we don't do that as much as we used to, because she used to do it and, she would walk around. But now we're doing this. I'm doing all of these and they're doing the other group. So we don't do it as much, but we should do it. And even with the process groups, I think they could do it, but it would be a little harder to do, I think. Your office is located near a natural area. You can walk out into the woods and look at stuff. This is not a natural area, not a nature preserve or anything here, but we do have some pretty nice looking trees and squirrels and rabbits and all kind of crazy mess around here. We can walk and do some mindfulness things and look at some stuff in there, So that's one of the things that we can begin to do. And we're not really going to be able to do it, because if we did, we'd have to have a long extension cord so we could carry the computer with us and all of that stuff. Walking can reduce the intimacy of looking at a therapist eye to eye. You're not right there in that place where you're having to look at that person. That helps you feel sometimes more at ease, more willing to share. Research suggests that walking can improve emotional awareness, creativity, self-awareness. All of that can be done during a therapy session. And that's why Miss Charnel walks around the block when she does her therapy session, because it helps us to get to all of those places and get us to a better looking at ourselves more than anything. But most importantly, walking during sessions sets a good example. It can be used to teach ourselves about the benefits of exercise, and it knocks out a daily workout. So some of the points to consider before putting it into play. Walking outdoors, it can be risky. We want to make sure that we don't let confidentiality be messed up. We want to discuss what we want to discuss. And usually how we do that, we don't do a whole lot of therapy when we take our nature walks and we take our mindfulness walks. I tell the folks over at North, and y'all know this, they've got a beautiful place out there. They can just walk around the building. And it's nice. It's got trees and squirrels and possums. Bigfoot lives on the corner. All of that kind of stuff. So here's the deal. Starting an exercise plan should not be all that hard, but we can make it very difficult. Can't we? We can make it difficult ourselves. And it can be. a little bit difficult. Like anything else in psychotherapy, when we decide we're going to do something, we don't need to just say we're going to do it and just leave it at that. We need to do it, right? We need to make a plan that we're going to do this thing, and then we need to do this thing. Sometimes people, if we just leave it like that, and you know, we've done this, and I'm going to tell you this, I'm not being mean, nasty, and ugly to anybody, but most of these things that we go on over here or go through in the classes, how many people think that stuff sticks with everybody? Nobody?
People think it sticks.
How do you think, what did we teach on Friday? Nobody.
If you write it down,
It would help if you write it down, it helps to register. But most people don't know what we taught on Friday. And, you know, so we're teaching today on, we need to exercise. So how many people are going to plan, get it all started, and then tomorrow start exercising? Or even today, start exercise. How many people are going to do that? Even though we know this is the easiest one thing that we can do to help us stay in our recovery, we're not going to do it. Some of us already do. Yeah, you exercise. You need some more though, man. I've been noticing you look pretty. That ain't nothing. I've seen little girls do better than that. Yeah. No, you do. It's good that you exercise, and you do a good job of it. But for most people, we make it the hardest thing in the world. It's a little bit hard. It's a little bit of a struggle to get it done. So therefore, if it's a little bit of a struggle to get it done, guess what? We're not going to get it done. But do we need to do it anyway? All right, look, starting an exercise plan can be difficult, but we need to. There's a lot of barriers, and we'll go through them real quick. Uncertain how to exercise. I've seen guys come into the gym, walk around, take a good look, and leave. They got no idea how to do anything. Not enough time, we say. Feel embarrassed about exercising. There's a place in the gym where I'm starting to go now a little bit. It says in this, there's, what is it? A no critique zone? Yeah. That's none of your business. You know, lack of motivation. This is our biggest problem. We lack the motivation. Forget to exercise. I don't buy into the forget to exercise thing a whole lot. I think we just we don't do it, so we just say, oh yeah, I forgot to do it. And look, everybody in here full grown. Everybody in North is full grown, right? I'm not trying to force anybody to do anything. It's up to you, isn't it? I mean, even God gave you free choice. He ain't forcing you to do anything. It's up to you. But it would be a really good idea for us to do that. Really good idea. One of the easiest things for us to do would be to go and start exercise to help with our recovery. Now, the last thing we're going to do before we decide to hit the bricks is decide what the question was. Now, first off, do y'all think did we meet the goal of the group? We learned, I think so. We learned something about exercise, how exercise can help us physically, and how exercise can help us psychologically. I will tell you this, that I was surprised when I learned how much exercise can help us psychologically. You know, it helps all those things. That's an amazing thing. You know, and if everybody would get it, there'd be a whole lot less people on medication. Yes.
Look good, feel good.
Yeah. Look good, feel good, and what? Do good. And you look good, feel good, and do good. All right, so yeah, I think we met our goal for the group. The other thing that we were looking at is what is the biggest, now don't scream it out. If you know it, raise your hand. What's the biggest country in the world and the smallest country in the world? And you guys over at North, y'all can write it down, but it just popped in my mind after we don't write it down after we answer the question. Write it down before the question. So, who's got an idea? What's the biggest country in the world and the smallest country in the world? What you got?
Are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready now.
Iran?
Iran? Iran is what, the biggest?
Small. Well, I say
What?
Russia's the biggest.
Russia's the biggest, you think? So what's
I think it's the second biggest, but that's on the flag.
what's the second biggest?
I think Russia.
Russia's the second biggest? Okay, well that's not what we're looking for. So when we ask if you knew and you raise your hand, that was just a reflex. Anybody else got an idea? Canada's a big country. Canada's 3 times bigger than the United States, but that's not right. So
Canada's the second one.
Alaska.
Alaska is not a country. So what do you think? You got your hand up. What do you think?
I think Australia is the smallest.
Okay.
I say Turkey.
Turkey?
I say.
What?
North Korea for the smallest.
North Korea?
I said Russia for the largest and the Vatican.
That's exactly right. Russia is the largest country in the world, and the Vatican is the smallest country in the world. The Vatican has 1.9 miles in area. 1.9 miles. So it's actually, look, it's right inside of, say it again?
The Vatican, that's wrong. I mean, it's Italy, isn't it?
It's in Rome.
It's in Italy. It's in Rome. But it is his own country. And that's where the Pope lives. And it also has the least amount of citizens. But they all live there. So Russia is the biggest. And the Vatican is the smallest. Congratulations. We had a winner over here. If we had a winner over there, let us know. Thank you all for coming.